My name is Katelyn Thordarson, and this is my English final. Personally, writing is not my strength. I've struggled in my English classes all my life because of it. It was this form of expression that wasn't for me, and it was frustrating. I felt like I was being held back from being able to communicate with the world, being able to relate with my peers through the very language that we speak. And it left me confused, not knowing what to do or where to go. I didn't know how to express myself in a way that others would understand. But fortunately, at a young age, I was surrounded by a family of artists. They too understood my struggle, and art became the only way for me to communicate with both the world and to better understand myself. I was fascinated by the emotions each piece of work would bring up. It was like a high, one that you had control of. And the sense of joy and control I found consumed me. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't need to learn how to write. I realized that I am a right-brain thinker and had no interest in changing that. But at the same time, as my college classes began to progress, I needed to engage both sides. So I took my chances and began to write. At first, I was shaky. It took me forever to try to think of the right words for each sentence. But then, I literally wrote down what I saw in my head. I began putting my thoughts into words, and luckily, one of the first essays we wrote was about observation. We were supposed to write about the senses, what we saw, the things we smelled, what objects felt like and the textures that they had, or the emotions and feelings that came up during the process. So for this essay, I interviewed my mother at her job. She's a registered vascular lab technologist at USC University Hospital. My intro paragraph reads, "As I walked down the freezing, sterile white hallways, I couldn't help but feel like I shouldn't be there. Nurses rushing up and down the hallways, rolling sick people in and out of different rooms. As one rolled by, you could hear the heart monitor chirping at different beats. I couldn't help but stare at the people that were being rolled around. I wanted to know why every single person was there and where they were going. Now, as I look back at this part of the intro, I instantly see what could have been changed. My first two sentences sounded awkward since I used the word hallway so close together. I also could have integrated what the heart monitor's rhythm sounded like. Since this is an observation essay, I could have used more detail, like what the patients looked like and what the nurses were wearing. Our next paper was on explaining concepts. I chose self-expression through art. In one of my body paragraphs, it says, one amazing quote reads, "The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but the inward significance." Aristotle. This quote is so powerful because it perfectly describes the purpose and use of art in one sentence, which is to express one's inward significance. Not only does expressing how they feel on the inside satisfy the artist, but it is amazing what kind of connections someone can develop with another individual, because they may relate to the expression shown through a piece of art. Now, as I look back on this particular essay, I've realized that the way I described the quote that I chose was not very clear. I noticed the term expression being mentioned frequently. And since there were a few run-on sentences, it blended my words together in a negative way. But overall, I felt as though I was progressively getting better with my word choices and putting my thoughts down on paper. And now, the last piece of writing I want to share was from an in-class essay. I chose the film The Fantastic Flying Books. My paper reads, in the movie The Fantastic Flying Books by Joyce and Oldenburg, the importance of books and writing is shown very clearly. Over time, books have become less popular due to generational changes in technology, but has also caused as much damage as good to society. This is because books allow people to fully engage their imagination and enter an entirely different and unique world that the author created. The reason why I chose this part of my essay was because I felt it had the best overall wording, and it gives the reader an idea of what the paper is written about. A few changes could be made, but in this essay it is noticeably better than my first. As long as I see my progression, I am satisfied, because in the beginning of the semester I only had art. But now I can confidently say that I have a new tool in my belt: writing. So with that said, thank you, Professor Gabrielson, and everyone else who's on this journey with me. I'll see you in a few hours. My name is Katelyn Thordarson, and this is my English. So, with that said, thank you for listening. See you in a few hours.
Real life ain't nothing like a movie. Truly, before I make mine, I'ma puff another doobie and take 5. Rub up your mother's booty, suck a couple boobies, and die a happy man. Real life ain't nothing like they say it is. That's why I rap like I'm on some escape shit. Use my poems to communicate with